Hello. I wanted to say hello on this beautiful morning. There's so much change happening in the world. The planet is feeling it, and all of us are feeling it in different ways, depending on where we live, depending on who we're living with, our neighbors, our communities. It's been really slow ever since I got here, November 1st. It's been slow, slowing down, living without electronic scrap, as some of the folks around here call it. I'm definitely using my cell phone now to record this, so I'll figure out some time to post it. Usually it's between 3 and 6 in the morning that I can post things, and that's pretty early. Can you hear the wind and the birds? The other thing is there's farmers in the distance, and they're probably making hay right now. It's been a pretty dry spell. Some of them were working into the dark yesterday, and Lindell, my partner, said that they would sometimes be making the hay until midnight or 2 in the morning when the weather was right, because you just had to do it at that time. This is where I live. This is the road that I walk on every day. Our farm is right over there, through those trees. I'm not sure what to say. I think these posts are about connecting. I've been reading a lot of Milton Erickson, amazing psychotherapist, hypnotist. He worked a lot with his intuition, and I'm going to be studying hypnosis and neurolinguistic programming and more about tapping, which I've been doing for, I don't know, 15 years maybe. I'm going to be taking a course this fall, because one thing that's very clear to me is that we can free our minds. We can do this. We can free our minds. And you've got to want to. That's one thing. But then you also need to have the right tools to help you. And it's different for each person, and it's different at different times of our lives. Sometimes it's a guru, it's a teacher, it's somebody who has reached states of samadhi themselves and who knows the pathways there. And they kind of guide you along the pathways that they're familiar with. When you have teachers that know a lot of different paths, this is also helpful because you could approach it through physical exercise and sweat. You could approach it through communing with nature, through hiking and camping and loving to be outdoors. You can approach it through your absolute adoration of organic, whole food that you grew yourself and being able to access the medicines that you need via plants that you grew yourself or that you harvested wild in the properties near your home. You can access it because you started on a path with essential oils and they drew you further and deeper into the plant world. That's what happened, not so much with me, but that was my latest step. In the past 3 years was using very pure, potent, medical grade essential oils that are from a very spiritually aligned company that uses fair trade practices and humanitarian practices. That kind of deeply affected me, which is why I'm on this farm. But you could enter it through a love of animals, a love of tracking, a love of really communing with animals or birds, and knowing their language, following their markings, and knowing what's going on because of the animals in your environment and because of your love and your respect for them. Some people, their gateway in is a love of the stars, a love of gazing up into the eternal heavens, which you can certainly see here with the darkness. It's really beautiful. And some people get into astronomy or astrology, and then you could kind of work your way down through the heavens and the spiritual spheres. You know, with some people, their gateway into freeing their mind is through connecting with the divine, connecting with this very real, omnipotent, omnipresent, all-pervading essence, energy, being that is all about love and harmony, beauty, peace, health, and happiness. And you can feel the vibe when you tune into it. So that can be like an inroad. But what I've found is that as you go into these places, be it transpersonal psychology or even studying the human anatomy, you know, maybe your way into the sacred and into liberation of your mind is by really studying how the human body works. All of the muscles and the bones and all of the fascia and all of the organs. And that could lead you, of course, into the ancient system of meridians that's not so much material but energetic and really quite at the root of life forces. Could be that you're studying ancient modalities from India. So whatever you're doing, they're all interconnected. It's all interconnected. So I started off just knowing I wanted to connect. Didn't quite know exactly what I wanted to say. it seems to be about connection and interconnectedness of modalities and people and everything. And it is helpful to be in nature. It's right now I'm like, I'm sitting on the ground. That's very helpful. Getting your skin touching the ground, grounding, earthing. The energies that we are surrounded with, I'm watching a butterfly, the Wi-Fi, all the cell towers they're putting up, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, lots of G's, right? They don't help the immune system or the nervous system. And if what you're wanting is to sharpen your immune system and your nervous system and your sense of connection with the divine and the earth, it is helpful to give your body some support. Like, in order for your body to deal with all of the electromagnetic pollution as well as the air and water and food pollution, all of the different toxicities that are in the environment for many people, the body is really doing its best. Especially when you're sleeping, your body's really doing its best to cleanse and to access that homeostasis and to evolve. So when you have a being and a body that's longing for evolution and that feeling of the divine present, and then you're challenged with so many impingements on your ability for your body and your mind to function optimally, then it's an issue, and you can decide what you want to do. One of the challenges is that as people get more and more entrenched and kind of hooked and entrenched by the electronics and the modern lifestyle, what happens is your access to your own inner wisdom and intuition, it's like you're wanting to access it, but it can get a little more challenged, because in order to really access your soul, you wanna create a path to your own soul. You want to nurture that gateway. So, your gateway might be baking, or cooking. Whatever it is, you respect that which brings you a kind of inner peace. Now, some people say follow your bliss. That can be a little tricky because when you follow your bliss, if it's an addiction, that's not so helpful. If it's a quote-unquote bliss that is really draining your system and not strengthening your willpower and your access to your soul, this is not really fantastic. But if there's something that you really want to do and it brings you joy and bliss, and there's a beautiful bird up there, and it's also healthy, right? So you tune in, and then you trust that you'll be guided. I mean, that's the amazing thing about the Milton Erickson work. He had no doubt that he was being guided. Now, of course, he was doing good. He was doing a kind of work that benefits all people. And, that's that's a pretty key measure. Like if what you're doing is something that would benefit all people, all plants, all animals, all of creation, you look around, this is, this is what God made. Call it what you will. Everybody all over the planet has a different word for God. The Great Spirit, an electromagnetic field that glows, Allah, Buddha, and all of thousands of Hindu deities that all combined. I mean, really, when you look at the words that people are using all over the world, when you look at their narratives, their poetry, their stories, their imagery, it's all different. It's all different because we're all unique and different from different cultures. But when you look at the core of it, the core has a sense of reverence for peace, for patience, for kindness and generosity, for giving to others, for saying, I'm not going to do this for myself right now, I'm going to give. Do unto others as you would want them to do for you. So there's a lot of very basic foundational tenets, if you will, like ethics that run true in virtually all religions and spiritual paths when you look at the core, at the foundation. You can look at any spirituality or religion and find people who maybe say that they're following it, but if you look at their lives, they're really they haven't gotten to the heart of it. So we are all, I believe that all of us are really on a journey that gets us closer to resonating in a powerful and healthy way with the heart and with the soul. So there's this interconnectedness that we all share, and there's a desire to get at a state that's more purely aligned with the heart and the soul, and there are ways to accept the help of nature to allow us to get into that interconnected, peaceful, clear place with our heart and our soul and our body and our whole being, plus those around us. So these are all things to look at. These are all things to look at. So, I wish you well in following your own inner wisdom. And through that inner wisdom, you go through that portal and you get to these states, and you really ask yourself, who am I? What's my purpose? What am I doing here on this beautiful planet? What am I doing here now? And if you look and you acknowledge all of the pain, all of the humiliation that you've been through, all of the upset and the sacred rage and the justifiable anger, when you accept the confusion and the torment in your mind and in your emotions, when you come to terms with your past, with all of its beauty, all of its gifts, all of its magnificence, and all of the damage that has been done, and you find that your soul is untarnished. Your soul is untarnished. And so you get to this place of truth where you begin to realize that you've always wanted to live a certain way. You've always loved, could be, I don't know what it is for you, but for example, that you've always, gosh, what might it be? It might be, I love this necklace. I just got it from Kendall. Kendall, I love this thing. Love it. Okay, so maybe you always wanted to make necklaces, So like this beautiful, amazing, powerful woman, Kendall, she loves working with her hands. And she used to live with me. After the divorce, I needed to rent out a room, and I had the most amazing, enlightened, gorgeous beings living at Mahalo. And so Kendall, you were one of the first with your dog Shannon. So Kendall loves working with her hands, and now she's making like this really sacred jewelry. So she made this one for me. It's like awesome. So, but it may be that you've always wanted to live by the ocean or on a mountain or by a lake. Maybe you've always kind of seen in your mind's eye the kind of place you want to visit or travel through or live in. You've always like had these longings to be with certain kind of people or have a certain kind of lifestyle. And then what happens is quickly, no, you can't do that. And usually that came from somewhere in your past, in your childhood. So you kind of have to slog through that and release it, and there are many techniques and ways to do that, but you can slowly reclaim your dream, your beautiful vision, And so what happens is when you align you as a human being that is such a magnificent honor and privilege and responsibility and opportunity, right? To be a human being. When you combine that with saying yes to you and your most beautiful dreams, and they could be massive, but you just do them. I mean, no kidding, just do it. And I have found it always works. It never fails. Never fails when you follow your most beautiful dreams. And you have to feed them like in the same way you water a plant. Like, if you don't water the plant, it will die. If you don't plant the seed to begin with, it will not grow. But you don't lose your opportunities because year after year, there's more opportunities to plant, to tend to the seeds, to water them, to do the proper weeding and thinning, and cultivating, and then you harvest. We had some sweet corn. Gee, la 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 la. The sweet corn was, and that's one thing we've experienced on the farm. I can see like my body is getting all excited. Every time we sat down to eat, it was like, oh my God, So we would hear these exclamations, like, or like just gestures, like full body, like. Every time we sat down to eat, it was like Oh my God. Because the food is just so good. One of the things I love this thing, huh? Okay, so one of the things that we're doing on the farm is teaching not only organic gardening in really the purest sense of the word, but also homesteading and how to build a sustainable community. Because building a sustainable community has to do with knowing how to listen, knowing how to manage your evolution, your self-care, and being able to live with other human beings. And also how to grow food and how to put it away, fermenting, drying, making salves, oils, vinegars, etc., tinctures. So there's the homesteading aspect that is more on the sacred earth plane. Then there's the sustainable living, which includes that, but also includes how to get along with people, including yourself. And then there's the organic farming. So anyways, I post about that on my Facebook page. But getting back to you and your dreams, right? You feed the dreams, you cultivate the dreams, and then when you fail, it doesn't matter. You just keep going. You try again. Because that's the only way. That's the only way, is to fail many times. Then every time you fail, you notice more and more about yourself. Like, oh, I have that pattern. That pattern gets in my way. What am I going to do about that pattern? I'm seeing that pattern more clearly. Oh my goodness, that pattern just sabotaged another year of my life. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you grow. You grow by dancing with yourself, stepping on your own toes and feet and tripping and falling in love with yourself for being such a insistent, courageous, badger of love. Okay, so I really want to wrap this up. I will say I'm in the process of figuring out how to work with more people, because I am working with people one-on-one, and that's wonderful, it's great, and I want to be able to work with more people. I work by donation, and that doesn't mean I work for free, because when I work by donation, the donation has to be respectable, or else I'm not doing you a favor. For example, if there's somebody who wanted to work with me, and if I said, oh, no problem, you poor thing, then I'm really being disrespectful to that person. So when there is an exchange of energy, there is more power for the person who is on their path. I got to a point after I'd created Mahalo and done a lot of abundance studies and law of attraction, where the universe provides, I have no doubt that the universe always provides what's needed for me. But I also work, I work really hard. I do. So I think that's all I'll say about that, is that when there's an exchange of energy, it's healthier. And that's what consistently my teachers have taught me. Elders, healers, indigenous people, all of them. So I'm really getting it now, but way back I would just give my work away because I really felt for people, and I really understood that some people truly had an ingrained belief in their poverty. And I respected the ingrained belief in the poverty while we worked on other issues, like healing from sexual abuse or other types of trauma. So right now what I see is that it's imperative for us humans to truly get to the core of our beings, that this world is abundant, it's beautiful, and there's an energy flow that we can tap into that is really helpful. It's really helpful. It's really real. It's healthy. And when we stand for all of us doing that, we take a stand that we can all do that, it's good for each other. And we can do it in a gentle and loving way. And it's always possible. So, I want to say thank you for taking this time. I really truly wonder sometimes when I make these posts if anybody even watches them. But it would be nice to hear from you, even in a private message, if you're too shy to comment. Like, how has this been for you? How has this been, like, being with me like this? Because I took this time out of my walk and I just kind of sat down in this grassy place because I wanted to connect. We have the future of our planet and the future of the generations to come. It's in our hands. The future is in our hands, and we can do something about it. And I'm encouraging you to do something about it, and I'm encouraging you to believe that you can. You can totally work towards positive directions. Flexibility is needed. If you're too attached to anything, it's, you really have to ask yourself what you're trading for what. There's a line of Rumi where he says, let me just see if I remember, it's so good. I trade my life for being able to be at one with God. What a bargain! He says, what a bargain. What a bargain. All I need to give up is my life, and I get to be with this, the presence of God. That's a bargain. So we all have our own language. There are probably thousands of spiritualities and religions in the world, and in the core, in the heart, there is this presence, this vibration that reverberates through the universe. It's like music. It's like, gosh, I should sing you a song, huh? Well, the song that's occurring to me is a song that I just shared with somebody for their wedding. I can't really do it in two parts, obviously, because there's just one of me. but I'll do it in one part, and I'll tell you when the other part comes in, okay? So, time has stopped, and here we are wishing you a lifetime of miracles and love flowing in all you do. Time has stopped, and here we are wishing you a lifetime of miracles and love flowing in all you do. Time has stopped, and here we are wishing you, come in, a lifetime of miracles and love flowing in all you do. Time has stopped, and here we are wishing you, and you come in, time has stopped, and love flowing in all you do. So that's a song I wrote when my friend Renee got married, I don't know, 20 plus years ago. So, okay, I wish you well. I wish you peace and health and happiness.